Hey, what's going on? It's been a minute since I put something up here on this channel. I have been having fun. While I'm taking a weird break, I'm taking an odd space. The title of that I put up here on the video is more of a journey in getting older and understanding that things fade and change for everybody or anybody who knows has spent quality time with me, like on my Twitch stream. You know, when I'm doing video like this, I can edit out all my coughing and stuff like that. But on my Twitch stream, a lot of people have seen me go through coughing phases. As a matter of fact, my coughing, according to the doctor that just repaired my hernia, was probably one of the reasons my hernia happened because of this intense coughing. And, the first time that I had that all checked out, they said, well, you're kind of close to this and you're showing these things. But, this was about 2 years ago. And then I had another series of coughing and stuff happening. And then I went just recently for another test. And they went, yeah, you're kind of in this zone now. And then at the same token, I had another test that put me into another zone of something. And some of it definitely has to do with getting older. There's a GFR test for kidneys, yeah? And so based on the test numbers, they gave me the title of having stage 1 kidney failure, which, come to find out, for somebody my age, is fairly normal. I was feeling a little kind of uncomfortable. I was going, maybe I should. And the reason why I'm a little hyper aware of my kidneys is because my daughter has stage 5 kidney failure at 33, and she's had it for the last 2 years. So it's something that's very fresh and cycles in my head. She's doing well. She's on, dialysis, but her day-to-day life, she's an incredibly powerful, strong young lady. And her and her husband just bought their first house too. So it hasn't stopped her life, which is just so strengthening and motivating to see her go through everything she goes through, and still is, she does dialysis, but but the other thing that has to do with my lungs was very unique in the sense that I've always thought that maybe my lungs would be the death of me because of the punishing stuff I put through it, or put it through, them through. Just social smoking at very best. Unfortunately, I did do a pretty heavy run of smoking buds and stuff like that when I was younger. It wasn't until about 30, 31 that I stopped what I would consider that harsher use. Last couple of years of that was almost every day. It's just because I had the time. I was writing a ton of music. I'm just saying. But then also during that period too, I worked at Surfboard Factory in 2 different cycles. For about a year, and then again for about another 8 months. And even though you have the mask on, you're always around. I was a sander of all things. I was a finishing sander. So it was 400 and 600 grit. And anybody who knows anything about sanding, that's extremely fine powder that's coming off, but it's still fiberglass. And then polishing, even though I wore a mask, it doesn't matter. I would take off my mask and casually have a cigarette while they're kicking off a hot coat. So in other words, polyurethane resins, the fumes coming off the surfboards, I could see it, Back then, you're Superman, right? Rah, rah, rah. But in the early 2000s, I started noticing I was starting to take a little more hits of my, the spray and everything. And it progressively got worse. We're like now, oh, well, I need to almost do that maybe once a week to twice a week. Then all of a sudden it got a little more, I think maybe I should paddle out and go surfing and I'll carry one with me just in case. I started crutching on it. And then finally, probably about 5-6 years ago, they said, well, let's try to control that a little bit. And they gave me one of those, powders you take every morning or nighttime, like kind of a not a cortisol, but steroidal kind of powder. And kind of noticed the difference, kind of not. Have good stretches of time without, taking a hit off that. And then go through a period where I 2 or 3 times a day for maybe a week, maybe having some kind of a flare-up of sorts. But as this is happening, I'm also going live on Twitch. And like I said, when I'm doing videos like this, I can edit my coughing out. But live on Twitch, they've seen me go on through a lot of, coughing fits where I'd have to, literally sometimes just get up and walk away. And therein lies the birth of Quado. If you know, but I used to call my hernia Quado. If you know the character and everything, it's kind of just my way of describing it. And so my hernia, and then I decided not to get the good hernia surgery at first, and then it reappeared because of coughing. My surgeon said, hey man, the way you're coughing and the pressure you're putting on it, being that we didn't put a mesh in on the first time, it just kind of happened again. This time around did the mesh. But then I started feeling like, you know what, my chest is feeling kind of tighter than normal and stuff. So after a recent series of tests, they say, well, you're, I'm in the stage 1 world of everything. It seems like kidney failure and COPD. And so just with the studies that I've done, COPD, if you're diagnosed as that based on the tests, there's no pulling up. It's like there's no pulling up from kidney failure, really. You can take care of it. Kidney failure, from what I know from my stage, where it's from what I understand, it's like if you've never changed your oil filter on your car, it'll still work, but it gets gunked up. And except we can with a car, but we can't with us necessarily, right? We get older. If our kidneys are still functioning, they wrinkle. The doctor says, well, I wouldn't be overly concerned about the stage 1 kidney failure, because as you get older, the kidneys kind of wrinkle. They kind of shrivel a little bit as you get older, like everything else. And so all of that to say that where I'm at right now is an acute awareness now of not so much my mortality, but kind of going, wow, it's actually happening. The getting old process, even though I feel energetic and, I'm always, bouncing around and stuff. For the last 5 years, I've had a few surgeries, torn rotator cuff, some things up here, and the hernia. And you just don't equate it to anything necessarily until you start realizing, whoa, I am getting old. This hurts. That's like this. I had a run of plantar fasciitis over Christmas that was gnarly. So all these weird things were happening. I'm like going, God, I felt like a push puppet. Remember those push puppets where, I don't know if you do, if you don't, they were these puppets that would be it would look like a little mini trophy with a statue or something. Then you hit a button on the bottom and that trophy would just crumble like bleh. And then you release the tension and it would stand back up. Kind of a fun little toy for kids. I remember that in Disney. I kind of felt a little like a push puppet, like things are starting to disintegrate a bit. So I decided to tell my friends on Twitch and stuff that I'm going to take a little bit of a break after, realizing that this is where I'm at. And now they're giving me, Singulair and some other things. And I'm kind of looking at it going, man, is this going to be what I'm going to have to do the rest of my life? Let me look at some other things. One of the things I'd like to do during this period is maybe lose a few pounds. I'm kind of like a manatee in that sense. I know I eat well, and how I equate myself to a manatee is like, well, I generally eat fairly well, and I do exercise. So like a manatee, it eats sea cabbage and it swims, but it's still, chunky. So that's kind of my vibe. But I think I'm going to have to step into another program to maybe see if I can drop 20 pounds and focus on really taking care of myself. A couple times during my life, I used to lift weights, and I was bigger at some point and stuff. And I definitely don't want to do that, but I'm feeling now the urge to kind of like circle the wagons around me physically. Maybe not so much start lifting, but using negative bands. I just ordered a couple things where I could do like, flexes and stuff, At least I have the discipline for that, so I'm going to be hitting that. And but during this break, I had done some reflection on the channels that I've created in the last 5 years, including this one, Positive Wave right there. And the journey on that one, kind of unique because those channels are aging out, kind of like how I'm aging out. It's done its thing, and now it's kind of like, the whole reaction thing. It's been a really fun run. I've never wanted to post one of those videos where it's like, I'm done. And, I can't, for any one reason or another, because I love music, full stop. I love music. And to get the opportunity to listen to music that people ask me to listen to, especially on Twitch, because it's live, it's interactive, is extraordinary to be a part of that journey with them. Their favorite songs, I'm listening to it, and then I do my form of reactions and breaking down. And, there's a little bit of, emotional that sometimes happens with us, those of us who put out content, a lot of content, you have a lot of followers, you get a lot of super disruptive comments and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of like, shadow boxing that goes on there with that kind of comments that what did they say? Why did they say that? Oh, that sucks. And then realizing that, the social media thing, you gotta grow a thick callus with your emotion. Don't even read the comments. Why even bother? All these other things that come into play. And that in of itself has run into the point where I'm at right now, where I know that eventually I'll get back to those channels. I really enjoy the Twitch channel because the community there that I have is really super cool and very supportive. It's a small community. but it's like I said, supportive and it's fun. And I'm going to go back. The YouTube channels, I'm kind of slowing down on a little bit. Not this one. I'll always be dropping fun stuff on this one. But I just did something recently which really kind of made me go, guys, I was just having fun. And I put up, I did a little AI thing of me walking, through chaos, right? It was a cartoon of me. And the music was real. And I put a little saying on it. And it was, I got, for the very first time, I got more thumbs down than thumbs up, which that doesn't bother me, but that was the first time that's ever happened. And I'm reading the comments. Comments weren't ugly, but they were all pretty much the same. They were kind of disappointed that I used AI, considering I'm a lifelong artist of, organic music. And, I definitely wasn't hurt by it. They were being very kind and stuff, but I did end up pulling it down because I said, well, I had to sit back and reflect on that too. Not that I'm being influenced by their comments, but it even took me, I knew that when I was saying, should I don't know, it's not, well, let me see what happens. Well, guess what? I did, and I saw what happened. And I had to check myself really quick. Like, wouldn't it have been cool if I would have locked off a camera on me listening on a headset, like let's say on a bus stop, but the camera's in a long distance and all that noise is in the background, right? Cars, everything is driving by, and then that slowly fades out into my music. I could have done that with a camera. I could have been that, creative, because that would be me, right? But because right now, you have no idea, but about 3 times so far during this video, I've had to fight back a cough fit. So right now, I'm kind of not going out into public as little as possible right now, so I can see if I can, with everything that's going on, get a little better control of my lungs and stuff. But that was another awakening for me. And I think, by putting out this video on the Positive Wave Writer and just sharing it here, because I have zero expectations of what will lose subs, gain subs. I'm not even monetized on this channel, so I don't even care. You guys are seeing YouTube ads. It's not me. I'm not monetized because I don't have enough, of a couple things, I guess. But it did give me pause, and I, decided that, what, I'm just gonna not really, for right now, I'm just gonna take a little bit of a breath, which I've already started. And I'm not going to really lean into a lot of those older channels as much as I used to. There's still people who listen to the music and enjoy and stuff, but I got to tell you too, as a point of diminished returns, I only feel like I could say so much. I've listened to thousands and thousands of tracks now, which includes the Twitch experience, and I can share the things that I love to share, but then after a while, even when I listen to myself, God, I love that bass tone. Oh my goodness, can you hear? Yes, I'm sure I say things that are, fun for maybe the first time listener who's enjoying it with me and stuff, and we can point out arrangements and stuff like that, which is what I love to do, because God knows I don't do theory because I'm not really qualified to do a theory reaction. Just sometimes I feel that it is just, like I've said, I continually say kind of the same things, if you would. And so I have to find maybe a new way to say things. I mean, I'm going to actually do some studying of theory, actually. Maybe there's some, there's somebody who I really enjoy having a conversation with on Twitch. His handle is Alman. And he's one of those people that challenge me sometimes. He'll call out a chord progression by its name or something. And I go, wow, that's really cool. That's really great information. I wish I had that. Well, I'm not too old to learn. So I'm taking the time to start doing that sort of stuff. So, I just wanted to pop up this video just to say, hey, this is the realization where I'm at right now with my health. It's not a very harsh sentence for me. It's just an awakening. It's an awareness that I'm having, and I felt like, okay, well, I'm gonna hear my body and everything and take the messaging seriously, and then I'm going to now, put some healing into work on it. And I'll still do this channel. I love this channel because I can just do bite-sized chunks and put it out there. And then, Twitch, I said I'd come back maybe at the end of February, which I'm shooting to do. I haven't left any messages in the Discord or anything as of late. But at the end of the day, this is the Positive Wave Writer channel. And believe it or not, I intend to write some very casual songs and some music and put it here. Like, I think this is going to be my home now as I'm getting older, because obviously the reaction channels will fade and stuff like that. So this video is just me going, wow, I am getting older. Not afraid of it, but it's happening. And now I have to put a little more focus on, what I have in front of me. I'm not now 25 years old wondering if I'm going to have a kid, buy a house and all that stuff. You get excited and maybe anxietied out to go in your future. Now it's like maintaining and healing and getting yourself on the right tracks, if you would, as I'm getting older. Stay away from that third rail, if you know, and just kind of, move forward. And so that's positive. This is a positive thing. I look forward to going surfing again, in a couple weeks. Just when I got healed with the hernia, I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to go out and surf. And then these tests came back. I was like, maybe I should, let me chill a little bit. I'm not exercising. I'm walking a little bit, but not too much because I don't want to huff my lungs. So, but yeah, that's it. It's a positive thing. It's a learning thing. I'm counting the wins. You guys know that's my favorite saying. And even though I just listed off a couple things, I'm counting the wins. And that's really important to me. And literally, I'm counting the wind instead of the winds and the wind, for the oxygen I'm breathing. Ha, 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 yeah, I got jokes. So, anyhow, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. You guys take care of yourself. I'll see you when I do the next post. I'm glad some people are enjoying some of the posts that I throw up when I go take a little walk at the botanical gardens or something. And I'm going to continue to do that too. So remember, count the wins. And if you're still here, my favorite saying, type in the comments, I'm still here. All right.